What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock. One second. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Appreciate y'all for waking up with us here on Morning Scone. Tuesday of Kentucky week, so LSU beginning that game prep with yesterday's practice at Ogeron. Did meet with the media on Monday. His press conference lasted 9 minutes. Typically, the way that thing is scheduled is at 12:15, Chris Blair and Gordy Rush do kind of like a recap of the game. They set the stage, whatever. Then Ogeron normally takes the podium, but it's all Zoom now at 12:30, and then he answers questions from 12:30 to 1. It's a 30-minute block. At 12:39 yesterday, Ogeron was just like, anybody else? Right, see you guys. And the way that on Zoom, if you have a question on that thing, you post in the chat, I have a question, and then when it's your turn, the admin unmutes you so you can ask the question. There were a handful of people in the chat who had said, I have a question. And were not called upon. Wow. Anyway. All right, y'all. Let's see. All right. Somebody do me a favor. I don't think Facebook comments are populating. If someone could please, someone do me a solid and just like hit test or something like that in the Facebook comments. We'll say some good mornings here, see what y'all got. Facebook, please like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. YouTube, smash the like button. We appreciate it. I see my YouTube comments. I'm not seeing my Facebook comments. So, Joe Richard, there you go. I do see Joe did that. Okay, thank you, Joe. Michael Forrest, okay, good. There we go. Thank you, guys. Okay, there they go. There they go. There they go. Thank you. Eddie Wicker, Tommy Matthews, Titus Jackson, Alan Hurd. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Thank you. Okay. Tim Gotro, Stephen Miller, Scott Fields, good morning. Mark Allen, what was that? Oh, the pause. I had to put the camera on my phone on Do Not Disturb, which is why it froze for a second and came back. On YouTube, not Facebook. Strong Side, good morning. Pat Houston, good morning. David Wallace, what's up? Alex Day, morning, Matt. Great rant yesterday on AFR. As always, you and T-Bob killed it on the podcast. Yeah, thank you. If you're not listening, T-Bob and I record a podcast twice a week. Monday is sort of the recap of the weekend. Thursday is the preview. So Monday, Thursday it drops. So yesterday our podcast dropped, recapping the Auburn weekend. So really, if you want to, if you're a masochist and you want tons of content reliving that game, my Locked on LSU podcast is there. Scone and T is there. The AFR podcast, or if you want to watch it via YouTube, you can. Full show on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube, or if you want to just watch my rant from yesterday, go to that After Further Review LSU YouTube channel. Anyway. But thank you for listening, Bubba, or Alex. Appreciate that. Bubba Tatum, what's up? Tim Gotro, AFR rant was A+ stuff. You know what's interesting? I wasn't even planning on ranting. Honestly, I wasn't. And I told Paul before the show, because Paul does all the clips and uploads everything to YouTube and all that stuff. And I was like, look, man, where I was always going to put up my thoughts about the Saints in the LSU game. So, whatever segment I talk about those. And I told him before the show, I was like, I'm not planning on ranting. I mean, then again, you never know. Like, once you wind me up and let me go, who knows? Which is true, but I wasn't planning on yelling and ranting, but it sort of happened that way. Mark Allen smashed as requested. Thank you. Smash the like button. Thank you. Ross Meir, good morning, Matt. What do you think about Kentucky let down after the big Florida win? Ross, I think that's legitimate, man. I think learning, in a program's evolution, I think there's a couple of things. I think you obviously have to learn how to win. And then, once you win a significant game, you have to learn how to handle success and how to be, the hunted instead of the hunter sort of thing. I think all that's very legitimate. So, the most relevant example that I'll always give that LSU fans will know, of course, is 97 Florida. LSU beats number 1 Florida, storms the field, great win, spend the week telling everybody how great they are. And, a week later, LSU got just smacked at home by Ole Miss. Romero Miller came in and just punked LSU that day. So disappointing. Couldn't handle success. Now, Kentucky beat Florida back in 2018, and that snapped their 31-year losing streak to them. And the next week they played Murray. So I'm looking at it right here. They played Murray State and blew them out. Then they beat Mississippi State and South Carolina. They didn't lose until October. They beat Florida in week 2. They lost October the 6th at A&M, 20-14 in overtime. So, and then they lost to Georgia and Tennessee in November. So that team went 9-3. That was the Kentucky team went 9-3. Played Penn State in the Citrus Bowl. But anyway, I guess my point is Kentucky did handle it well when they beat Florida back in 2018. We'll see what they do this week. But again, they had Murray State the week after, not LSU. All right. Hey, Gabe Hudson, Chris Williams, good morning. Brady Bolin. Matt, did you get my voice memo on the text line yesterday? Brady, I did not, man. I saw that pop up, but it was not blue. I couldn't listen to it. It showed it sent a WAV file, but maybe or an audio file, but it wouldn't let me play it. So sorry, I did not. I saw you sent it. I didn't get to hear it. I don't know, it might have been too long. I don't know. Rode Yule. Let's see. Ogeron test F straight Fs. On Saturday, that was definitely the case. All right. Colton Mack, good morning. Mark Allen, Monday was definitely Tell the Truth Monday. Colton, Scone and Tea is the best. Thank you for listening, Colton. Also, man, if y'all listen to Scone and Tea, be sure to support the Bayou Carlin Oyster Company. Pretty cool concept, man. They send you, it's in a box. You're packaged, and it's oysters on the half shell that are pre-prepared. So you just heat them, put them in the oven, put them on the grill, shucked and buttered and everything. And you just heat them. Great concept, man. Use the code Scone and Tea. Save 15% off your order. Let's see, David Wallace. Rant on AFR included the timeout after a dead ball in the fourth quarter. I think they did the same thing in the first half. They did on the first possession of the game. I don't have my notepad in front of me, but if I'm not mistaken, it was the first possession of the game. If we're all desperate to go back and relive it, I'm fairly certain LSU did that on the first possession. Let's see, play-by-play. Let's see. Auburn punted. LSU gets the ball. Yep. Max Johnson completes pass Ty Davis Price for 9 yards to the Auburn 22. And LSU called a timeout with 8:07 to go because they couldn't get that play off. Yep. Now, it wasn't after a dead ball. Maybe that's not the one you're talking about. There's too many to choose from. Eric Wilderwater, morning, Matt. Lost in all of this mess is how good of a job Durante Jones is doing. Completely opposite game plans week to week. All without his best player. If it's up to you, would you keep? So, Eric, here's the thing. Whoever the next coach is, I firmly believe you should never force a coach to keep an assistant, especially a coordinator. If a coach is going to be judged by the result of his team, he should be able to pick his staff. back in 2005 when Les was hired, Skip made Les keep Jimbo Fisher. It wasn't Les's choice. And Les and Jimbo obviously had differing offensive styles and philosophies and butted heads a good bit. It's why Jimbo left to go be, coach and waiting at Florida State, which was a thing at the time, all the coach and waiting stuff. But no, I would not make any head coach keep an assistant. And I was thinking about that this morning with Durante. They have gotten better from UCLA, there's no doubt. And but I will be interested to see, because they played obviously two lesser opponents, and then they played Mississippi State, which is a different kind of challenge, and then Auburn, which came in without a really dynamic passing game, but some pretty good runners. Let's see. I think you'll know everything you need to know about how much progress they've actually made when you play the better offensive teams on the schedule. When you play at Ole Miss, obviously when you play Bama, although Bama's Bama, that'll be a real measuring stick for what level of progress they've made. They've made progress, no doubt, but how much? I think let's wait until they play some of the better offenses. We'll see. Dave Endur, good morning. Smash the like button. Thank you. Truax, what's up, man? Scott Fields. The letdown depends on if we have a play ready to go after a timeout. Kenneth Martin, good morning from Pistol Whip, Texas. Okay. Dave Endur, will bringing back Coach E really help in the play calling? So I mentioned this yesterday in AFR, and I'll say it here. So Steve Ensminger had not been to football ops since last season ended, and they hired Jake Peets. Ogeron did ask Ensminger to travel with the team and come to the games and all, which is why Steve went to UCLA. A lot of people saw that there. After they lost to UCLA, they asked Ensminger to start coming in and reviewing film with Jake Peets. So Steve has been doing that. I assume he still is, but he did after UCLA. He had not been in football ops at all since. I literally don't know that he stepped foot in the building since he left. But Steve's a great guy and he loves LSU and he wants to help. So I don't know if they will reel him back into any game day responsibility. I'll say this, it is really, really tough to ask someone to have that degree of game day responsibility, assisting with play calling and stuff like that, if they're not there every day working on the game plan, implementing it at practice, all that stuff. After all, this is why you hired Peets and Mangus to work in tandem the way that you had Ensminger and Brady, or Ensminger and Linehan. So when we look at the passing game coordinators with Jerry Sullivan, Joe Brady, Scott Linehan, and now DJ Mangus, maybe the conclusion is the passing game coordinator really doesn't do anything. Shout out to Brock, y'all. Brock Rock and Wine coming up October 30th. That's LSU's open date. So y'all buy your tickets, brortho.com. Food from some of the best restaurants in town, live music, plenty of wine stations. They'll have a margarita machine as well. Great event at the Renaissance Hotel in Baton Rouge, all supporting the Brock Foundation. So, Brock, brortho.com. Good morning from Bruley. All right, Jasper Bowden. Good morning. Stephen Miller. LSU's in a perfect spot for this road game. Kentucky coming off a huge win. Huge SEC East game coming up against Georgia. It's true. Very true. That circumstance does absolutely play. And I want to be clear again. I think sometimes this is lost with all of the talk about coaching change, etc. Like LSU was this close to beating Auburn. This close. And the Kentucky game opened up a 1-point spread. Now it's 3.5 now, but again, like this close. The margin is very thin. Like LSU's not done winning football games this year. They're just not going to win enough for Ed to keep his job, and the mishaps are just glaring and ugly. Can LSU go beat Kentucky? Yeah. Yeah, they can. I'm not sure I think they will, but could the circumstances like Steven's talking about there rise where big letdown for Kentucky, look ahead spot to Georgia? I mean, it's very plausible. Let's see. I'm confident Coach E will have a play ready after a kickoff, not have to burn a timeout. Mark Allen, are you going to Kentucky? I'm not, Mark. Steven, that said, if they drop this weekend's game, looking like they look in the second half, the rest of the season is a wash. That's why Auburn was so important, man, because what you have ahead after this weekend with Florida, Ole Miss, Bama, you're going to be an underdog in all three of those. And you're underdog this week. You needed a feel good. You know, if you'd beaten Auburn, you might be favored this week. The spiral potential exists. Scott Fields, Coach E in the box pretty much castrates Pete's, I would think. I also don't know how, like I said earlier, I mean, how do you do that? You know, how do you bring in a coach with a ton of experience, obviously knows the personnel and everything, but like, if Steve's not there every day working on the game plan, watching practice, like, it's really hard to ask him just to come in cold on a Saturday and be a play caller, you know, or assist a play caller. PTG Toasty, what's up? Let's see, haven't listened much yesterday. It's apparent that the scripted plays by LSU are fine. Adjustments and calling the game as it plays out isn't a strong suit for the offense. Very true. LSU, that's the last couple of games. I mean, now the offense in the first half or first quarter against UCLA was not good. But yeah, when they come out and they've scripted, I don't know, did well against Mississippi State, scored in the first possession against Auburn, but absolutely, as the game wears on and adjustments are made, that's not been a strong suit. That's very fair. Let's see, it seems like Flott's role is evolving into one similar to how we use Delpit. Do you see the same thing, and where do you think he plays in the NFL? No, I don't think that's Delpit. I think he's just a bigger nickel. You don't typically have dudes that are 6'2" playing the nickel. Let's see, Fred Flintstone. Matt, think Coach O didn't have the Tigers pumped up for the game against Auburn, and the same thing happened to the Saints. I'll disagree, Fred. I think LSU came out on fire. Defensively, got a big stop. Flott made a big hit, big tackle for loss. LSU scored in its first possession. I think they were ready to play. They just had a lot of gaffes with 750. God dog it. Okay. Alan, does it bother you the crowd leaves early when the game is competitive? Weird. It does, Alan, but again, I'm never going to criticize people for what they do with their free time. No one wants to sit in traffic for 2.5 hours after a game. Roy Esau, what's up, man? Patrick Mulhern, is there a huge savings on the buyout if LSU waits to the end of the season? No, the contract, Patrick, and I have it on my phone. I have it in front of me. The contract, if I'm not mistaken, the year begins like in March, so they would have to wait like until March for it to drop, and they're not going to do that. It's $17 million. Kelly Gross, good morning. Reagan Lee, what do you think about the Urban situation? I don't think I have a tremendous feeling on that. I mean, I can't say that I have whatever. Henry Gordon Bennett, good morning. I saw Kentucky's nose tackle was ruled out for the LSU game. Interesting. I'll start digging into Kentucky today. Yesterday was a lot of recap Auburn. If LSU loses all games before the off week, do you think Woodward will pull the trigger? I don't, Alan. I think they'll, barring something else unforeseen coming to light off the field, I think they'll let him coach out the string. Benjamin Gorge, good morning. Gorge? Gorgeous? Gorge. Will LSU attempt to run the ball and keep the defense honest, at least more than last week? I would hope so. I thought they would this week too. Okay, y'all, I got to get going. I got to get Drew to school. Wrapping batches, Michael Mills. Matt, yesterday I learned Edo is responsible for the team is right now. He takes full responsibility. Ronnie Duga, good morning. Quick question: if they fire Ed for cause, does he lose the entire buyout? Mitch, what they would probably do is just negotiate. Like, I don't think they would ever announce that he's fired for cause. I think they would, similar to James Craig. They never announced that James Craig was fired for cause. Now that news leaked, but if you go read the press release from LSU, it was just announcing that James Craig was no longer part of the staff. They didn't say we're firing him for cause because of NCAA violations. But that's what and then what you do in that situation is you could do one of two things, right? I mean, the coach could just walk and not take anything. He could threaten a lawsuit, and then the two sides negotiate a settlement of the buyout to avoid court, or you go the John Chavis route and you end up in court. My guess is they would just settle for a lesser dollar amount. Okay, y'all, I got to get going. Got to get Drew ready for school. Y'all have an awesome day. Locked on LSU coming up later this morning. AFR at 3. Appreciate y'all so much. Have an awesome day. Please like the Brock and the Hudco page. They're tagged in the Facebook post. Y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you. Peace.